Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my theory tuition series where we're working step by step through the ABRSM theory grades. There are loads of resources available to help you on my website. If you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets. They're available in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. There's a page there also with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can also access information about the books that I have available. I've written an exam technique guide, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for your exam and also how to make the best use of your time in the exam room when you're working through your exam paper on the day. So if you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find it's all there. If you can give me a like, that'd be really great, and subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more in store. And so now we're going to continue on with the paper C. We're going to finish that paper from the 2017 practice papers. So if you turn with me to page 13, and we'll have a look starting at question 7. So this is the question where we have our performance directions in Italian terms. Remember, it's a cumulative, so it's everything from grade 1, grade 2 and grade 3. So there's no alternative but to just get stuck into a bit of revision. I always say that I recommend that you group all of your terms thematically from all of the grades, so group together everything that's to do with fast or everything that's to do with slow or loud or quiet, however it makes sense to you. Even colour code it by all means, whatever it takes to just get these words cemented into your brain a little bit. So I suggest you have a go of this yourself first of all. If you don't know, don't look it up, have a guess. You will learn better by making some mistakes. You're only ever writing in pencil. Have a nice sharp pencil to hand. I've got a mechanical pencil just because I don't have to keep sharpening it. And have your trusty eraser, and you probably need a ruler any moment, so have that to hand too. So I'm hoping you've had a go of this, and so we'll have a look at this together. So they've given us the first one. Here's the metronome mark. It's worth just taking a minute to look at this just for revision purposes. Here you've got two parts that you need to be careful to address in the answer. We've got a dotted crotchet, and it's 60 beats in a minute. So make sure it's 60 dotted crotchet beats in a minute. Any of these others don't quite make sense. They all say dotted crotchet, so that first bit is correct, but then we need it's beats per minute. Dotted crotchet beats, well, that's a bit open-ended, that doesn't mean anything. In the whole melody, that's rather restrictive, and so dotted crotchet notes where that's not really telling us anything. It's got to be in a minute, and that gives us our tempo direction. If you think about it, that means the tempo is going to be a dotted crotchet beat every second, if you think about that. And so you've got to make sure you address both parts of that should that come up again another time. So let's move on. We first came across Allegro in grade 1, so we know that Allegro means quick. Assai is very, so we need to have very quick there. Here we have a little bit of a linking term and a word here, so we need to make sure we address both of those words. Più is with, or sorry, più is more, so I'm reading that there. They do throw you, these red herrings do. Più is more, and mosso is movement, so it's more movement. So you need to make sure you address both of those. Amoroso, loving, that's not too difficult to guess. Risoluto is bold and strong, and if you think about it, it looks kind of resolute. That's another way of just remembering that. Scherzando is a playful joking. If you're playing scherzo, scherzando, I think. I don't know if I pronounced that properly. Scherzo is a joke kind of piece, so you can see the link there in the terminology too. So there we go, that's that one done. Let's turn over the page and we'll move on to question 8. I have to admit, this is my favourite part of the paper. I really like doing the scales. It's sort of easy peasy, because if you've got your key signatures all written out to begin with, you've already done the job before you've even started the paper. So F sharp, melodic minor, descending, so make sure you go down. So we need to start on an F sharp. Now it's asking us to write without a key signature but with accidentals, so we're going to have to bear in mind the key signature. However, before we get thinking, let's just write the blobs out. Let's just get all the nuts and bolts in place. So we're in bass clef, so good boys do football. I'm going to start on a reasonably high F, so I've got room to come down. So just line, space, line, space, gone off a bit there, line, space, line, space. I've given myself plenty of room there for accidentals. So now we need to do a bit of thinking. F sharp melodic minor is related to A major, which has F sharps, C sharps and G sharps. Now in the ascending version of the melodic minor, you have the raised 6th and 7th, but when you're descending, you come down with the key signature alone. So we've only got to add those 3 sharps, nothing else. However, it might feel like we're adding an extra sharp because remember it needs to begin and end on F sharp, so you need to write that twice. F sharps, C sharps and G sharps, and there we go. That's the job done. So now we have to write B flat major ascending, so we're going upwards with a key signature, so that's going to be even easier. So let's just first of all start. So we'll start here. We're going to have to use ledger lines one way or another, so we'll start there. 1, so line, space, line, space, line, space, line, space, and we've ended on F, G, A, B, so that's right, so we're all correct there. I'll just rub that out now, we've done that thinking. So B flat major has a key signature of 2 flats, so we've got B flats and E flats. That's gone a bit wonky. Dear, what am I doing? B flats and E flats, there we go, and that's that question completed. And let's move on to question 9. Again, this is another one of my favourites. I quite like this question, just looking through and answering questions. It's kind of music theory for real now. We're relating it to a real piece of music. So then, we're going to have to keep shuffling up and down the page. So here's the melody, and then we're going to use these questions here. The melody is in the key of C major. Which other key has the same key signature? So we're looking at related keys, and if you've written out your circle of fifths, you know this already. C major is related to A minor. They both share a key signature. So that's just the general question. The first phrase has been marked with a bracket. We need to mark all other phrases in the same way. And so if you notice, we've got the phrase lasting a full 2 bars, and so we can see it's going to go 2 bars, 2 bars, 2 bars. That matches nicely. So I'm just going to show where I'm going. Beginning on the first note and ending on the last note of the bar, and then hopefully I can join those together. That's a nice easy one. There's not even an anacrusis, no upbeats to worry about. A bit further, haven't quite managed to line that one up. There we go. So how many times does this rhythm occur in the melody? So we've just got to do a bit of observing. So we've got dotted quaver, semi quaver, dum da dum, dum da da, once, twice, dum da da, 3, 4, 5, dum da da, 6. There we go, that's that done. Nice and easy. 6. Okay, give the time name of the longest note in the melody. Let's have a glance through them. That's got a dot, that's long. However, that's even longer with a dot. That's it. So we've got a dotted minim, or alternatively you could call it a dotted half note. So got a bit carried away there. Dotted minim or dotted half note. There we go. So describe the time signature as simple or compound, and how many, is it 2, 3 or 4, duple, triple or quadruple? And so looking at the time signature, you can see we're grouped in threes. It's definitely compound. There are groups of threes, and we can see we've got one group of 3, 2 groups of 3. And so we're in compound time and we're in duple. There we go. And so the last question, we've got to do a bit of thinking now. Using the blank stave, so they've moved the stave up here so we don't have to keep shuffling to see where we're copying to. We need to write out the melody from the beginning of bar 1 to the end of bar 4. So we're doing the first line, so we're going to go from here to here. But we need to write it an octave higher, and we need to change from bass to treble. So then, let's use middle C as our anchor point. Here's middle C. At the moment we're the G below middle C, so we need to be the G above middle C. So actually, before we do that, I'm just going to mark out my bar lines. So I'm keeping in line with there so I don't get lost which part of the piece I'm copying, and I know I'm not going to run out. And we're going to keep my notes aligned as well. So we're in the treble clef, and so here is middle C. So to be an octave higher we need to go to the G above middle C. So C, D, E, F, G takes us to here, so that's our starting point. And so really we should just be able to work it out from there. Dot that, sharp. I'll worry about the stems later. So here we're going up 1, 2, 3, 4 to the C. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the C. C, down a step, down a step. Down a step to the G. Down a step with a sharp. Same note with a natural. Down a step, dot that, next door. Next door takes us to the G that we began on, and so we can see that's the same note each time, so a bit of a reference point there. Down a step, next door, down a step to finish. There we go. So we just got to worry about the stems now, because we're beginning and ending on the same note. I'm keeping that reasonably straight. Now we need to decide whether to have the stems going up or down here. That needs to come down, that can go either way. That needs to go up. So we're going to have to just choose. It's an equal balance, so either way would be okay. But I'm going to keep the stems up just to match everything else, I think. These will have to go up because they're below the middle line. So will these, yeah. And so I'll just do the extra bit, just go the extra mile and put in the articulation marks. You perhaps don't need to do that really, but I don't see why not. There's plenty of time in the exam to do this, so you might as well earn every single point. There we go. That's that completed. So that's that question completed, and that's also that paper completed. I do hope that that's been of benefit to you. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. I'm really enjoying working through these with you. If you can give me a like, that'd be great, and subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more in store. Please do go to sharonbale.com and make use of all of the resource that's available to help you there. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.